Okay, future real estate superstars, I've got a question for you. When you're out there building your empire, what is the single most powerful tool you have in your entire toolkit? Nope, it's not your smartphone, it's not your fancy car. What is it?
That's right. It's the contract. This document, these pieces of paper, this is the engine that drives every single deal you will ever do. It's where a handshake turns into a legally binding promise. It's how you secure your commission. Honestly, mastering the contract isn't just a good idea, it is absolutely everything.
And that is exactly what we are going to nail down today. Welcome to your mastery guide for Florida real estate contracts. We're going to break this down piece by piece so you can walk into that exam feeling totally confident. All right, let's get into it. So first things first, we've got to start with the absolute basics. Think of these as the 5 essential ingredients. You can't bake the cake without them, and you can't have a legal contract if one of these is missing. Here they are, the big 5. 1. Competent parties. We're talking people who are of legal age and of sound mind. 2. Offer and acceptance. This is the meeting of the minds, where everyone agrees on the same thing. 3. It has to have a legal purpose. I mean, you can't read a valid contract to do something illegal, right? 4. Consideration. We're going to circle back to that one in a second. And 5. For real estate, it's got to be in writing and signed. That's a law called the Statute of Frauds. Remember those 5? They are the absolute bedrock. Okay, so what in the world is consideration? This term trips up so many people. It's not just about money. It's the what's in it for me for both sides. It's the value that each person is bringing to the table. The easy example is the buyer's cash for the seller's house. But it can also be the buyer's earnest money deposit, which is a valuable promise to move forward in exchange for the seller's promise to take the house off the market. You see? It's the glue that holds the whole deal together. All right, let's keep building here. Now we're going to get into the different flavors of contracts you'll see out there. And trust me, the exam absolutely loves to quiz you on the little differences, so let's make this crystal clear. Think of it like this. A bilateral contract is a two-way street. Buy means to, right? A sales contract is the perfect example. The buyer promises to pay, and the seller promises to hand over the keys. 2 promises. A unilateral contract, on the other hand, is a one-way street. One party makes a promise, just waiting for someone else to take action. An option contract is a great example. The seller promises, I will sell you this house for this price if you decide you want it. The ball is in the other person's court. Next up, express versus implied. An express contract is exactly what it sounds like. All the terms are expressed, they're laid out clearly, whether it's on paper or just spoken out loud. An implied contract is a bit different. It's all about actions. If you sit down at a restaurant and order dinner, you didn't sign anything, but your actions created an implied contract that you're going to pay the bill. Simple as that. And finally, let's talk about the life cycle of a contract. An executory contract is a work in progress. It's alive! From the minute that sales contract is signed all the way until closing day, it's in an executory state. Both sides still have things to do. The moment the keys are exchanged and the money is wired, boom, it becomes an executed contract. All promises have been fulfilled. It's done, finished, complete. Now, let's talk about the part you're probably most interested in, the contracts that put money in your pocket. Listing agreements. This is how you and a seller make it official, and it's what guarantees you get paid for your hard work. Okay, memorize this chart. Seriously, think of these as levels of protection for your commission. Down at the bottom is the open listing. It's a complete free-for-all. The seller can hire a dozen agents, and only the one who actually brings the buyer gets a check. One step up is the exclusive agency listing. It's better, but there's a huge catch. If the seller finds their own buyer, you get nothing. 0. Which brings us to the top, the gold standard, the exclusive right of sale. This is the one you want. This is the one you fight for. If that house sells while you have the listing, you get paid, period. Doesn't matter who finds the buyer, you get paid. Then you've got this weird one, the net listing. This is where a seller just says, look, I don't care what it sells for, I just need to walk away with $300,000 net. Your commission is anything and everything over that number. It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? But whoa, is it dangerous. And here it is, a massive exam alert. Pay attention. Net listings are technically legal in Florida, but they are an ethical nightmare. And here's why. They put your interests in direct conflict with your clients. Think about it. Your fiduciary duty is to get the seller the highest possible price. But with a net listing, you're secretly hoping they agree to the lowest possible net amount so that your potential commission is bigger. See the problem? The exam will 100% test you on this conflict of interest. Be ready. So contracts aren't forever. They all come to an end, hopefully with a happy closing, but sometimes things fall apart.
So let's look at how offers die and how contracts can terminate. An offer is a pretty fragile thing before it's accepted. Of course, the best way for it to end is with acceptance. That's when it turns into a contract. But the buyer can withdraw at any time before it's accepted. The seller can flat out reject it or kill it with a counteroffer. Sometimes time just runs out. And, sometimes life happens. If the house burns to the ground or tragically one of the parties passes away, the offer is terminated. It's gone. But what happens when you have a signed contract and somebody backs out? Well, that's called a breach. And the person who didn't breach has options or remedies. They can sue for specific performance, where a judge forces the other party to go through with the deal. Or, and this is much more common, they can accept liquidated damages. In 99% of sales contracts, that's the buyer's earnest money deposit. Okay, get your highlighters out. Here's another exam alert. The exam loves asking about deadlines. There's something called the statute of limitations, which is basically a ticking clock on how long you have to sue someone for breaking a contract. In Florida, for written contracts, you've got 5 years. For oral or parole contracts, you have 4 years. Just burn this into your brain. 5 for written, 4 for oral. It's easy points if you know it. All right, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's bring it all home. We're going to look at one of the most common exam traps and then do a super fast recap of the 3 things you have to walk away with. Pop quiz time. Let's test you. A contract signed by a minor is what? Is it A, void, B, voidable, C, unenforceable, or D, illegal? The test creators love this question because the answer is all about a very subtle but very important legal difference. And here's that difference. A void contract was never a real contract to begin with. It was born dead because it was missing an essential element. But a voidable contract looks perfectly valid on the surface, except one of the parties has a secret get-out-of-jail-free card. That's why the answer is B, voidable. The minor has the choice, the option to cancel the contract. The adult on the other side, they're stuck. They have to perform unless the minor backs out. That is a classic exam question. All right, you ready? Time for the 60-second recap. Let's do this. Point number 1. Those 5 essential elements are everything. If you're missing even one, you don't have a valid contract. It's the foundation of every single deal. Point number 2. When it comes to your business, the exclusive right of sale listing is your absolute best friend. It gives you the strongest possible protection for your commission. If the property sells, you win. Period. And point number 3. Don't forget that ticking clock, the statute of limitations. You've got 5 years to sue on a written contract and 4 years for an oral one. Those numbers are practically guaranteed to show up on your exam. So there you go, the core of Florida real estate contracts. Remember that question I asked at the very beginning? What's an agent's most powerful tool? It's the contract. And now these aren't just definitions in a textbook. They are the professional tools in your toolkit. The only question left is, are you ready to go out there and prove you're the expert? You've got this. Now go pass that exam.